Hi everyone, this is Rachel Kirkland here, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for being with me for another YouTube Q&A video of the week. It's been a long one. I don't want to say that. That sounds depressing, doesn't it? And I want this to stay straight. Stay straight. You're so beautiful. You're straight. How do you do that? Stay like that. Don't move a muscle. Maybe it's just that muscle. Look, I flipped it. Man, oh, I flipped it back. I whip my hair back. What is it? I whip it. I don't remember how that goes. Okay, here we go. Hi, you guys. This is Rachel Kirkland, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for being with me for another YouTube video of the week. If you're new to the channel, as always, I would love to invite you to my website, which is themodernshaman.net. There's a ton of resources on there for you if you'd like individual sessions for healing, as well as traditional seer sessions, which are mediumship, future probabilities, past life, channeling your guides, all sorts of connection, as well as, like I said, the healer perspective of the shaman, which is through soul retrievals and shamanic elemental balancing and clearing. All that's on the website, as well as further training. If you are into the learning part of this and really want to develop your own sacred intuitive gifts, then I have resources there. Training modules, all sorts of stuff. And mentorship, if you're wanting one-on-one guidance. And I just unveiled a new spiritual entrepreneur program for those that are wanting to use their spiritual gifts to support themselves, to create a sustainable business that thrives on living out your purposed life. So that's also available there on the website. Again, it's themodernshaman.net. All right, here comes the question of the week. This one came in after the live stream. I did a live stream and then we had a topic that was of further interest. So they sent in a question. It says, you started to mention this gender change that may be a part of spiritual evolution and humans evolving. Is that something you would incorporate into a YouTube video, please? I'd love to hear more about it. I'm also aware you may not want to come across as controversial, but this is a fascinating topic. Yeah, I don't think it's controversial. I don't know. I'm not a very mainstream person. I think even my career and my life in itself would seem controversial to some people. It is what it is. I'm gonna be honest and transparent and answer from my heart as always, no matter what the topic. Actually, I have a video that's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old now, but if you look way back in the archive, someone asked a question about whether humankind was becoming androgynous as a species, and if I saw this for our future, and so I answered that question a while back. So it's a similar topic, and it's been asked before, and I've talked about it before. And maybe I'll try to connect that to the end of this video so that you could come back to it. But it's super relevant, I feel like, for where we are as a culture and a community and a species on this planet. And I actually love this question. And there's a lot I have to say about it. So I kind of want to feel into where I want to go with this. To be honest with you, let me always be honest with you, right? But here's the deal. Any time I have looked far enough back to the beginning of my personal experience on this earth, it began in a higher dimensional space, which was what I called androgynous at the time. But you know what? I don't know that term. I like the term non-binary even more, because androgynous has the typical definition of having both genders represented. And non-binary is almost like neither genders are represented. maybe they're both present in a way that yin and yang hold space for one another and create balance. It's almost androgynous and non-binary at the same time. And I've seen that in my vision, in my past life memory, and my own soul development as part of our species beginning in this state. That was the fullness of both the genders representative in the soul form, and yet neither being chosen or representative, or like neither showing themselves. Like you wouldn't look at that being and go, that's a masculine or that's a feminine being. There would be neither in the appearance of the being. It would be a spirit in its form. And this is the higher dimensional space that I've always seen is where our species began. And then just in my own personal journeys, I always wanted to know like how our species began, or how I began on this earth, and incarnation experiences and things. And through my own internal journeys and vision work and meditations, that experience, when I viewed it from my human perspective, it looked like me as this spirit form, essentially choosing to segment myself into male and female in order to move into this dimensional space, which would be considered a lower dimensional space that had polarity or expression of both. It had to, like, in the density of the light body, it had to be segmented into its polaric expressions in order to become a form, in order to move into a body that had more density to it. And density meaning like solidified form. It became solidified, which created the form of a male body in the sexual organs, and created a form of a female body. So in my vision, I saw this as how our species began, which I understood at that time as representative of the fall of man, or where the angels had sex with humans. I feel like it's been explained in so many ways that are not, anytime we language something that doesn't come from this earth, that doesn't originate in a human experience, it's just like a bad wrapping paper job on something that's like you can't really wrap around the shape of it. You can't really wrap around the shape of that experience of moving from a higher dimensional plane, higher dimensional soul body, light form, into a human expression. And it's been explained and it's been warped and twisted in our human experience of it, and the way that it's been translated, I just think is kind of hobnob. So we have to be loose with that and not get so caught up in the details and the formality of the way that people have expressed that in the past. We started in that higher dimensional form that to me is the equivalent of non-binary and androgynous together, present of the fullness of accessibility to all that is feminine and all that is masculine. And then we had to segment into the polarity of forms to be in this 3D world, in this manifested physical carbon-based density in itself. And when we are here, and I see that our spiritual evolution is essentially like a big karmic cycle, right? We're coming back to that as we are ascending through our spiritual process on this earth as a species. We are ascending back into that higher dimensional plane, which will look from human eyes as an androgynous or non-binary form, a spirit form and soul form, which has no specified, identified gender, but it has both present in it because it's the fullness of all expression. When we see a sphere of energy or an atom, all right, something that's scientific, and I don't mean atom like biblical atom, I mean like an energetic, like like, like an energy form. Instead, when we see that, we don't necessarily label that as masculine or feminine, right? It's an energy form. And that is true of our energy bodies, or our soul and their essence. They have the fullness capability of procreating with cells, of duplicating cells, right? As well, and the duplication is in a different way. So they are embodying both. Not so much like hermaphrodite, like having both sexual organs, not having the need for a material form in order to duplicate. It's not a physical form. It's an energy body, and so it doesn't need a materialized phallus to create a sense of birth or creation or new life. It is able to duplicate on its own. We have some examples of that, like in marine life and even in a lot of the amphibious worlds. There's some examples of it on this planet. Okay, let me see what else I want to say. If you're not familiar, I've also done videos on the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And as we are ascending, this is part of the process that we're going through right now. Huge shift, and we're seeing it all around us, which is wonderful for our species. As we're going through this shift, essentially we're moving out of, and I've been teaching this curriculum for a while, but we're moving out of the traditional 7 chakras and beyond, and moving into a 13 level or 14 level chakra system, which is inclusive of our energy body, inclusive of our auric field, inclusive of our spirit or our soul. And your body actually sits inside of your energy body, right? Our physical body is a lot smaller than our energy body. And for some people, it's a lot smaller than their energy body. They have a huge auric field, a huge energy body, and they've always, for some reason, felt like squished into this tiny hole of a body. And if this is you, you know it. But we are moving into this new ascension phase. We've been in it for a while, and some people were precursors of this, have come in as indigo and crystal children and brought this in without any issue. But essentially, we're moving into that higher level chakra system. And it holds the chakras, which are our energetic organs, right? They help us process things energetically. And a lot of times the traditional 7 are stored in actual organs, associated with actual organs in the form. Now when we move into the 13, they are outside of the human form, and they are housed in the energy body. Then there's even higher levels that move into the cosmic body, the universal body, and we will ascend essentially into those as well, as we're moving up and up into higher dimensional planes through our species and our planet. And our planet is getting closer and closer to the galactic center in terms of astrology and astronomy, as we are a planet that hurls through space at all times, right? So all that being said, these higher level chakra systems that we are moving into and including in our experience now, and a lot of people are integrating that into the physical experience. It houses right above our physical form in the energy realm, probably about 3 feet out. You can't see my arms, but I'm about 3 feet out here. Looks like these little antennas that come off the top of the crown chakra, which is the end point of the traditional 7 chakras, and it is our connector point to the spiritual realm. These divine masculine and divine feminine, and they come off almost like an inverted pyramid here at the top of the crown chakra. And the divine masculine is on the right side, divine feminine is on the left. I'm just giving these directional points because some people can actually feel and see their chakras, and can feel the energy coming in when it's coming in from the divine masculine, when it's giving them guidance. They can hear guidance through that side, through the right ear, feel the pressure, my clairsentience. So as this is evolving as a species, a lot of times we're actually able to kind of like manage our antennas, balance them in a way, and tune in to Tokyo, like tune in. That phrase, oh gosh, I'm getting that visual. But anyways, we can tune those and kind of come into better contact with the access points of us that are divine feminine, divine masculine, always housed in our energy body, that are not gender specific because they are not in the human form. They're in spirit form, which has access to both energetic expressions. And both are present in source. It has to be in terms of creation. We have to have a form moving through the space, right? So let's define a little bit the feminine and masculine characteristics of energetic expression, right? And this is what we're moving into more as you see that people are not wanting to specify gender by like the assigned sex, what they came in with, the body and the physiological aspects of the body, but rather with what they identify with in their energy. It feels more like what they identify with as personality, as traits of being, okay, as the soul imprint. And this is more defined in this realm of the divine masculine, divine feminine. The divine masculine is the extrovertive force, all right? If you can visualize like the phallic, there is an external element to it. It is the momentum forward. It is the projectile or what is being created. This is defined as structure, as mass, as formality, as systems and authority. There is a push or an extroversion to it. And so this energy is what, gets things done, it's the creation energy that has momentum through it. And when we find ourselves aligned with our divine masculine, this is how it expresses. We get things done. We feel like we're able to make decisions. We feel like we're able to extrovert and move through time clearly. We're able to get systematic and logical, and things make sense, and they move through space and time in a very linear fashion. We're able to direct the energy forward. Now, when we are aligned with our divine feminine energy and that's flowing through, this is the spaciousness of creation. You have to have space or a womb or a holding space in order for creation to show itself. You don't know that you're moving through time if you don't have a capsule of time to judge it through, right? Or the masculine has no purpose of momentum if there's no time sequence that creates an end and a beginning. And so this is the feminine energy of the holder, the womb, the receiving space of that energetic momentum. And you think of the womb literally and use that as a metaphor for the energetic components of the divine feminine. She's more intuitive. She has more flow to her, right? Non-defined, more mysterious, more poetic, more in line with beauty and majesty, and holding the space open so that this sense of getting things done can come through. So both are important aspects of creation energy and are present when we are in our full divine body, our soul form, right? And our full spirit. Both are present and we have access to both of those. Now, as we're moving through and ascending energetically and moving up dimensionally, we'll find ourselves having or pulling more from each of these sides when they're needed. This is not a 50-50 balance. This is the biggest thing I teach when I teach this curriculum, is that it's not, I don't know why our human experience still goes to the polarity of it. Like, I got 50% masculine, 50% feminine, so I'm balanced. Nope, it's not that way. You have all access, you're all of it. You're completely masculine, you're completely feminine all at once. It's multi-dimensional, it's spherical, right? It's not flat. You don't have to pick a side. No, it's a sphere, all right? It just is a mind trip for us humans. That's hard for us to live in that space. But if you can open to it, use your feminine to open to that it is an undefined space of having definitive action. You have access to both. So when we are moving up in this with humanity, we are seeing signs of that, where it is mimicking the ability to be at both fully divine masculine, fully feminine, in one spherical form, and you have access, and this is ebbing and flowing, meaning when I need to move forward and get things done, I have full masculine capacity, and it's like this, I get it done, I move quickly, I have that projection to my energy because I am all of it. Do you see what I'm saying? When we have the need for the feminine and the need for the receiving from our own sense of action, or for the momentum that's been going, or to get the capsule of creation, or to change and move into a new shift. Anytime there's a change, we need that creation time first, right? Like the cauldron, like the space, it needs to bubble and create and saute, right? All of this is done through the feminine, and meditation space, and sitting and seeing what comes up and what arises within. This is the ultimate divine feminine energy that also has full capacity, because you're living it both and have access to both. So they come in as needed, and you fulfill and you embody and you express of both dynamics at once. The actual form, our form, is still changing. Our body is still changing. Our human species of form is changing and moving back upward in dimensional form. It's getting lighter. We're seeing more and more change with where the allergens of things that are dense and coarse and modified, our bodies are getting more and more sensitive. This is proof that more light is coming into the form, and we are essentially becoming more and more aligned with the light body than the physical body. Now this takes a long time. It's not like, we're going to see it in one lifetime, but we are on that evolutionary path. I mean, it's essentially just a cycle. So we started there, we are on our path back there, but we're in a time of pivotal change where we're seeing that very directly with the free will and choices of, I remember what it was like, and I remember that feeling, I know I'm more than just this gender or just this defined identity, and the embodiment of that is finally taking hold. We were at a place before where there was a lot of curiosity and questioning. This is the way that creation starts, right? It starts with like the question of like, well, I'm confused, or I don't really feel like I'm that, or I don't really feel like that. This is a normal part of creation, right? The idea phase, or the curiosity, or the questioning, or the not quite confusion, right? We think of space and the Big Bang, where it probably looked like a lot of cosmic soup of craziness at the beginning. This is the vision I'm getting. Before things became clearer. And now we're moving into that phase of the free will, of the choice. And the choice is starting to be beyond the physical, which is telltale that we are moving in our ascension process, and resonating more with the expression of our energy than the physical form itself. And this is a beautiful transition where I'm like, bravo, humankind. Bravo, human species. We're doing it, and we're doing it together. So I know it's a big, broad topic. Not so much like a direct question, but just a lot of sharing on it. I hope that is beneficial to you all. And we will be back here next week with another video. Blessings.